And good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this tonight. It's Jason Mann with Jim Check, Kelowna Now live on YouTube and X with your day's news and a quick check on your forecast as well. Well, it looks like to start things off, e-bikes and scooters could be in Kelowna for another 4 years, but with some new rules.
Celebration for some and like, oh my God, for others.
They are a little divisive.
They're definitely, they're getting some more new rules.
What are these rules?
Yes, what are the rules? There's a few changes. This provincial pilot program was to come to an end in April, but in December, the province announced a 4-year extension, which will end in April 2028. And they got a handful of new rules. That includes creating mandatory parking areas.
Okay.
Currently, riders receive a discount for using designated parking spaces. But in the downtown area, there are going to be some mandatory parking spots. Like, no, I don't think the lake is going to be one of the spots.
Or like somebody's front yard, just tipped over on the sidewalk. Is that okay?
I think if you're in residential areas, you can still park them wherever. It's only going to apply to downtown, these designated parking spots. You need to follow the current rules because the clock just keeps on ticking if you park them somewhere else outside the...
Okay, well, that's a...
and they must be clear of 1.5 meters of a clear space, and the scooterway cannot block a path or on the sidewalks and so on and so forth. And it's going to be changed from a permit to a contract model with a single operator, and the fleet of 700 e-scooters and 300 e-bikes would remain about the same.
Is that
so there's
right?
1,000 of those things out there, right?
Well, in the summertime, you sure see them scooting around.
Micro-mobility is what they're calling it. Micro-mobility.
Or mobility as a service, I think I've also heard.
Supposedly it reduces congestion and emissions without impacting taxation. 3 years of safety data show that e-scooters are not uniquely dangerous compared to other ways of getting around. Kelowna is one of 13 communities participating in the provincial pilot program, which came into effect April 2021. Over 1 million trips have been made.
I'd like to see that data. I don't know how that, haven't we heard that the emergency room doctors have been...
Well, we're going to get to that. 6th highest readership of 30 Canadian cities with this shared micromobility options. And we have among the highest in per capita ridership. I think the university uses a lot, for sure. But 900,000 kilometers of driving since 2021. Not bad, right? There's some charts there. Yeah. In 2023, Lime introduced the addition of e-scooters to UBCO campus, which resulted in 89,000 trips being made, accounting for around 15% of the total ridership across the city. And like I said, riding around in UBCO makes sense, getting around the campus. In Rutland, ridership saw a 400% increase. So there was one person using it before, and then there was 4. I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding. There you go. And then as far as accidents go, Interior Health said that they saw bicycle-related injuries at KGH resulted in were 373, 345, and 245 ED visits in 2021, 2022, and 2023. So accidents seem to be going down the first year, 373, then 345, and then 245. But they say 99.99% of the rides are
without serious incident.
That's right.
So you only have
I think like
0.09%.
Maybe a little more education on how to ride them, not like screaming bandits down the side of the road. Not even the side of the road, all over the road.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know that they're a hot button for a lot of people.
I mean, I remember when it was like I thought against a lot of ride without a helmet on your bicycle.
I've been tempted to try them even in Calgary. Like if I'm going to go to there's this
store
that's just but as you get older, you're just like, I don't really want to spend the rest of the day at KGH or Foothills Hospital. Right?
There's a risk-reward benefit there.
You're just like,
Well, moving on. Candidate officially challenges the nomination results for the BC United Party in Kelowna Lake Country Coldstream.
Yeah, Pavneet Singh won the right to represent the BC United Party in the next elections, but now they're subject to an official dispute. Candidate Bini Bopari, that's where the karma person, they've disputed the results, and they're going through an appeal process right now. Lawyers are involved, and expected parties the party will conduct a review of the process. There's some, allegations that during the nomination process, questions are raised about the candidates signing up new memberships among foreign students. So see what happens.
And we have an update on the story that we brought you yesterday about a cougar being spotted between a couple of Kelowna schools and the Mission. BC Conservation Office Service says they don't have a major concern about the cougar spotting.
Yeah, in a statement provided to Kelowna Conservation Officer Ken Owen said the cougar was exhibiting normal, natural behavior and has been assessed to have a low public safety risk. And they have received multiple reportings of cougar sightings, primarily nocturnal in the area over the past 2 weeks. The cougar spotted in the forested greenbelt. You know, the OKM school, that's pretty much, it's pretty dense in there too, right? Where there's that little park there off to the left of Gordon Drive there too, if you're going towards Kettle Valley area.
Look at that beast. Beautiful.
BCCOS will continue to monitor the area for reported sightings. Claim the cougar attacks on humans are extremely rare, but offer up safety facts that you can get on KelownaNow.com.
All right. And the RCMP retrieved mail stolen from Summerland Peachland residents.
People still get mail?
I thought it was just junk mail and bills.
Just like you open it up.
Steal my mail any day.
You can have it. If you believe you were a theft of junk mail, I apologize to Canada Post. From your mailbox in Summerland during December, the police would like to speak to you. People are missing Zeller's flyers, and we've almost
got to the 30th anniversary of email.
You know what? I haven't personally have not gone to the mailbox probably in 7 or 8 years. My wife gets it like once every month. I think they give us notices every now and then say like your box is overfull.
Yeah.
Anyway, they say there's been a rash of thefts from mailboxes.
Oh.
So investigators say mailboxes locks were open without damage, meaning some people may not even realize their mail was stolen. I think some people get those keys to the mail. I don't know. Yeah. Probably not that hard to pick, right? In order to reduce the risk of being a victim of mail theft, the Summerland RCP recommend retrieving your mail daily whenever possible. Well, I don't think that's going to happen with us, especially with me.
Lake Okanagan resort owners have been handed a pretty stiff penalty, a $47,000 environmental fine.
Yeah, after experiencing that catastrophic loss in their property due to the wildfire, the owners of Lake Okanagan Resort have been handed a multi-$1,000 fines, up $47,870. But this is prior to the fires.
For an issue that happened prior to.
Yeah, details 5 administrative penalties issued by the Director under the Environmental Management Act for issues related to wastewater discharge and other breaching conditions under its permits. In April 2021, the ministry issued an inspection report which outlined a number of non-compliances with the permit, including unauthorized bypass of authorized work and a broken sewer pipe, which resulted in a spill of effluent to the ground in January 2021. Under the permit, the resort owners can discharge wastewater to the ground subject to certain terms and conditions. However, the effluent spill was found to have potentially adverse effects to a sensitive environment area near the lake. That's where the kokanee are spawning. So the owners appealed the penalties in February 28th, 2023, again prior to the fires. According to the decision, they were not disputing the director's findings of noncompliance, but were disputing the amount of the penalties. They argued that the penalties ought to be reduced because of its consistent efforts to remediate the contraventions which led to the penalties and prevent further contraventions. I guess they're saying they were trying really hard. Well, they say they bought it and it was that condition when they got it, and that they're working hard to do it. But the province came back and said, well, no. It seemed like the warnings that were not enough of a deterrent, and so they handed up penalties. They said they considered all the relevant evidence and submission of the parties, whether or not specifically stated in the decision for the reasons not set out above. There you go. They deny the appeal and confirm the total of the penalties to be $47,870.
That's a stiff fine.
Yeah, so that was Lake Okanagan Resort was among the 189 properties damaged in the McDougall Creek wildfire that swept across West Kelowna in August 2023. I imagine they're waiting for their insurance money at this point.
Probably more than enough to pay off that fine. We have some video.
Are we playing the video?
Oh, we're not.
No, Sophie says we're not.
Got it. Okay.
You can go to Kelowna Now and watch the video.
Right. So this is from a video interview yesterday with you and Kent and Dan Albus.
Kent Mulgat and myself sat down with our MP, Dan Albus, And he had a lot to say, including that the feds are currently out to lunch. So a lot. We talked about Justin Trudeau's recent vacation, affordability, housing, and I think the big one was definitely affordability. So well worth the listen for sure. Mm-hmm. Head to clonanow.com. You'll find the story on clonanow.com.
Seems like
you can also find it on our YouTube. And under the live, like if you go to our YouTube, there's our videos, and there's you have to hit live to see the newscast like this and all the live streams, right?
Was the temperature a little hot
yesterday?
Yeah.
In the room or just with Dan? Maybe between me and Ken.
Okay.
It's good to have that
dynamic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
opinions and perspectives.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what makes a great country.
Yeah, I agree. British Columbia's coroner service is reporting that outdoor deaths of 36 people during the early days of January, when the province was in the grip of a record-breaking cold snap, actually happened.
That's just horrible. That's from January 1st to 16th, showing the highest number of people dying on January 12th. That's when the temperatures records were broken across BC. The service says 5 people died on January 12th when temperatures at Punsi Mountain, west of Williams Lake, neared minus 50, while Victoria broke a 61-year-old record with a temperature of minus 10.7. I mean, that's cold for Victoria for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there you go. Last year, the coroner service reported more than 600 people experiencing homelessness in BC died in 2021. And 2022, a sharp increase in the annual average deaths of 182.
Yeah, you know, Canada's not a hospitable country to be homeless.
No,
many months of the year.
It's very cold.
Yeah. 4 BC children under 10 have died from strep A infections in the last month.
Yeah, so the BC Centre for Disease Control says the province continues to see higher levels of invasive Group A strep infections than usual. Threefold increase in strep A infections among people under the age of 20. Sadly, over the past month, the BCCDC has received reports of 4 deaths in children under the age of 10, where strep A was identified alongside viral respiratory illness. So very, very sad. Things to watch for in your children: a fever for more than 5 days in a child of any age, fever with either fine red rash, sandpaper-like texture, full body rash. A fever in a child under 3 months age, a child with immune system issues or complex chronic health conditions, a child struggling to breathe, pale skin, child is very sleepy or having difficulty waking up, and a child becoming very, very sick quickly. Again, always best to be safe and sorry, right? Especially with your children, right? So
being a parent is tough sometimes. Yeah, not fun to see them sick. A man suspected of stabbing a woman outside of a Calgary school was due in court on sexual assault charges.
This is a story we covered, I think it was yesterday or two, wasn't it? So the police say the death of the woman in front of the Calgary Elementary School should be reviewed by the provincial committee that analyzes family violence cases. Again, this is really sad. Officers called to the school in the southwestern community of Strathcona just before the school started on Tuesday, and they found the woman, a mother, with apparent stab wounds, and they were unable to save her. The suspect, who had been previously charged and released by the courts on a no-contact order, was found dead
Unacceptable.
nearby. Police say in a statement that they have a robust approach to domestic violence. The police had engaged with the family numerous times, including charging the suspect on 3 separate occasions.
Yeah,
and he was released each time with condition, including a no-contact order. You'd think like once or twice. Anyway, the court records show that the man was charged with sexual assault involving the woman on July 9th, 2023, and had 2 counts of failing to comply with a release order. He was scheduled to appear in the court next month.
Preventable?
More has to be done. More. I mean, it's just somebody's daughter.
Yeah.
Somebody's mother.
Yeah.
Has passed away because of this person that would not obey the courts.
And it was just preventable.
Sad.
Moving on, Canadian world champion pole vaulter Sean Barber is dead at a young age of 29.
Social media posts by his agencies confirmed his death on Thursday, and reports from the Associated Press in the United States are saying the cause was due to medical complications. We don't know what that means. Barber leaped to the world stage athletics in 2015 when he won gold at the 2015 Pan American Games in Toronto and the IAAF World Championships in China. The gold medal win at the World Championship marked the first time a Canadian won gold outside of the sprint event. Sad news. Barber won 5 national championships between 2013 and 2018, last competing in the 2020 season.
Well, the cross-country ski season is well underway, and a dozen athletes from the Telemark race team are preparing for a pair of large upcoming competitions.
Yeah, the ski season is well underway, and a dozen athletes from Telemark race team are preparing for a pair of large upcoming competitions.
I think that's just what I just said.
Did you say that? I zoned out. I'm still back at that story. I'm still back at that story of that Calgary mom. Like, oh my God, right? Because with personal experience and that stuff. So there's 10 members from Telemark set to compete at the biennial event hosted by the city of Quesnel. And you can go on kelownanow.com and you can read the athletes that are going to compete. So
yeah. And other sports, the Kelowna Rockets fell short of a late push on home ice.
Tough task ahead of them themselves as they attempted to extend their home win to 8 games while taking on the dominant Portland Winterhawks, but they fell short, losing 5-4 on Wednesday. And their record at this point, they had an abysmal 10-game. I think it's like a 10-game losing streak, right? But they're just above 500 now. 20-19-2 on the season, and they were outshot 37-17. Not a great game for sure. So there you go. Well, that story really kind of hit. So I mean, it's terrible.
Senseless. It's just senseless, right? And it's hard.
Any type of domestic violence, especially against women and that kind of stuff, needs to be.
Well, and there's a child
stopped
in the world now that
needs to be unacceptable and no excuses. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
You and I don't get to choose because we are not judges.
Yeah. Well, looks like it'll be gradually milder as we get closer to the weekend. Expect some more snow flurries, possibly starting here overnight and tomorrow. And other than that, stay warm, stay dry, and be safe.
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Friday, end of the week, and then apparently it's warming up, and ski conditions are premium.
Yes.
So there, and you're off to Vancouver to cheer competition.
Cheer competition
with 3 little ones.
Yeah.
Taking all 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And tomorrow afternoon at 2:00, we'll be back at 9. But at 2, we'll have Fortis in for an interview.
Correct. And we're going to be talking about that pipeline that they wanted to do, and that the BC Utilities said no.
And now Renee Merrifield is warning that we're going to have some problems with energy, and it may be something that could be overcome.
We're seeing that like grid issues all across Canada right now.
Yeah. Maybe a good time to think about getting prepared, having something.
But I think we should turn off all the gas across Canada. Just shut her all down. I'm kidding.
Surely you jest.
I'm kidding, but I think some of the people in the government want that. So
yeah. Well, it
seems odd.
Again, we come back to the issue that Canada's a pretty cold country. It's one thing to not have maybe full-time power and energy in a tropical country, but in a very cold climate like this, that's risking life and limb.
Anyway, stay safe,
stay
warm, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.
All right. Have a good night.